Today we're going straight back to when I was born because we're going to turn this into this.
Dreadlabs.
What's going on, guys? My name is Tom from Dreadlabs and I'm a visual artist, graphic designer and self-proclaimed 90s kid. Not 30 yet, but almost, and I'm definitely in denial about it. Anyways, today I'm going to give you some quick pointers into turning your footage and making it look like it's from the 90s. I'm going to draw inspirations from textures that you see in the 90s, mainly from VHS footage or tape, and for my favorite video content of the 90s, and that's music videos. So if you want to mimic that 90s music video feel, film yourself from the top down and use a fisheye lens. If you don't have a fisheye lens, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to mimic one in After Effects. And that's what we're going to start with today. So the first thing that you want to do is add an adjustment layer to your footage in your composition. You can do that by pressing Ctrl-Alt-Y, or you can just go to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. Next, you want to search in the effects and add spherize to that adjustment layer and up the radius to about 600, 650. Next, to distort the edges, you want to add a CC lens, change the size to 250, and you can leave the convergence at 100. As you can see, you might want to change the center of the sphere a little bit, and you can just do that by clicking on this little button right here. And in my case, I kind of want to maybe like move it around like where my head is, because my head's a little bit off center, as you can see. One thing that I forgot to mention is that the aspect ratio of your video should be a little bit smaller. But of course, if you want to just make your video in HD, you don't need to worry about it. But in my case, I'm going to change it. So I'm going to change the width of my composition from 1920 to 1440. I'm going to change the radius of my spherizer to maybe a little bit higher, so that the whole composition looks a little bit more fish-eyed, I guess. And I'm gonna just reset the center of the sphere with that. Now, I know I said I was a 90s kid, but if you do the calculations, then you'll find out that I'm from 1996, so I actually didn't really grow up in the 90s. So sorry for being a poser. I guess this video is a little bit more about the late 90s / early zeros, I guess. But it doesn't matter whether you're from the 90s or from the zeros, because if you're from that era, you know that basically everyone recorded their own music videos in their cheese graters. So that's what we're gonna do now. Instead of taking a picture of my cheese grater, I basically rendered one out in Cinema 4D. And just in case if you're lactose intolerant and you don't have a cheese grater, you can just use my render for free. The link is down in the description. Alright, so I placed my cheese grater render behind my footage. So we're gonna make a duplicate of our layer here, and we're gonna just make the back one invisible. But on this, make this 90s to, I'm gonna rename this to Rotoscoping. Gonna double click on it and this will open the layer, and now we're able to make a rotoscope out of it. And let's make sure that we're on the right frame, and we're gonna start rotoscoping right here. So at the top here, you want to check your roto brush tool. So let's just draw in wherever we want to make ourselves visible. So I forgot to readjust my FPS. So basically anytime you want to go to the next frame, you hold Control or Command on Mac and press the right arrow on your keyboard and make sure that you're still in the frame with the purple line around you. And this tutorial isn't really about rotoscoping, so if you want me to do an in-depth tutorial about rotoscoping, let me know in the comments down below, or in the meantime you can find another one on YouTube. Alright, so once you're finished, you want to click on the freeze button here. So now that you're inside your cheese grater, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel to never miss a video. And of course, all you need is some crazy VHS effects on your footage. So the way you want to achieve this depends on you. If you're on a budget, I would probably advise you to add some grain effects or some textures over your video. You can manually add noise in Photoshop, make a couple of different layers and add them over there. There's also probably a lot of free VHS or static noise packs out there on the internet. But to get that ultimate 90s look, I'm gonna actually turn my footage into VHS with a simple plugin from Zybex. So I'm gonna make a new adjustment layer and rename this Signal. And why I'm naming it Signal is because that's the name of the plugin. So I'm gonna search for it here. And remember, this is a plugin. If you want to get it for yourself, it'll be in the link down below. But if we look at our footage right now, you can see that it's completely been 90s-ified or zero-ified. not sure what to call it. And you're basically free to tinker around with a lot of these settings here. I usually like to turn off the tape errors at the bottom here. I like to up the chroma loss a little bit so there's a little bit more color in there. But there you have it, your very own 90s to zeros music video. If you're too lazy to follow this tutorial and you just want to drag and drop your footage into an After Effects composition and have this effect, I actually have the After Effects file ready for you. One variation with the paid plugin and one version without it. And you can find it on my Patreon page, the link will be in the description down below. Side note, this will also give you access to over 100 project files, including After Effects files, Photoshop files, and much more. Anyways guys, I hope this was a useful tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And with all of that being said, this is Tom from Dreadlabs tuning out, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video.